Good afternoon, everybody. Let's we continue our chapter human resource. Human resource. Yesterday we discussing regarding processes responsible for the population change. Population change. So there are three factors, indicators which are responsible for a change in population of an area. First is the birth rate, total number of live births compared with the 1,000 persons in a year. 1,000 persons in a year, birth rate. Second as a death rate. Second as a death rate, it is a number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year. It is as the main cause of the rate of growth of population of any country. Those economies where death rate is higher comparatively birth rate. In such economies, these economies are indicates as the poor medical facilities, as low economic growth. Due to as a low economic growth or a poor economic status, these countries, they can't protect their population to survive as a longer duration of time. Clear? In such countries, as the population die under the age group of a smaller age. In relation to the death rate, we are study about the IMR. IMR stands for infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate. It refers to IMR refers to death of children under age group of 1 year. Those kids which die before the completion of 1 year due to the poor medical facilities, lack of awareness, illiterate parents, malnourishment, which leads to the death of a child below 1 year is known as the infant mortality rate. This is as excluded from the death rate. In death rate, the IMR is not included. In death rate, IMR, infant mortality rate, is not included. Clear? Death rate clear? It is as the number of death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year, which is as the main cause of growth of the Indian population. At the time of independence, our death rate, it was the higher, but same as the birth rate also similar to the higher. Under such circumstances, the equal growth rate was continued. But after completion of the 70 years of Indian independence, due to improvements in medical facilities, improvements in a population, we controlled over a death rate, but still as the birth rate is a higher. That's why the population growth rate of India is a higher. Our population, it has doubled after the period after 30 to 40 years. Why? Because birth rate is consistently increasing, but as compared to the birth rate, Death rate controlled by us. Death rate controlled in our country. The number of deaths in our country as reducing due to the availability of a cheaper and better medical facilities. Cheaper medical facilities. Now the people are not died due to the starvation. They are having as a food items which are given at a low cost by the government to poorer sections of society. This scheme as a Antyodaya Anna Yojana through ration shops, 2 rupees per kg wheat, 3 rupees as a rice and 20 rupees per kg as a pulses given to the economically backward sections of society. So death rate is controlled in India after the independence, but the birth rate is consistently increasing year by year. Clear? Now the third factor which has used to study the population change is a migration. That is a migration. 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 Migration is the third component of a population change, which refers to movement of people from one place to another for the search of better living conditions. That's why the population moving from villages towards the cities, better living conditions, employment opportunities. Third, matrimonial relations. Girls after marriage, they leave their parenthood and move towards their in-laws. Matrimonial relations, employment, better living conditions, education. Presently, our youth, which has moving towards the abroad, towards the Canada, America, Australia, Rhythm, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they are moving for the better education. For better education, they are moving towards the other countries. Clear? So these are the factors which are responsible for the affecting the migration of a people. Migration in a country is generally occur in two forms: intranational and international. Intranational migration refers to intranational migration. Intranational means internal migration within a country. When people migrate from one state towards another, or a district to another district, is known as a intranational or internal migration. Internal migration, under which people move from one part of country to another, is known as a intranational or internal migration. Clear? Internal migration. For example, Viren moving towards the Himachal Pradesh during the month of June for the recreation purposes. This will be as a categorized under the internal migration or intranational migration. Second, as an international migration. International migration is that state of migration in which people moving from their country towards the other countries. When people move from one country towards the another country is known as international migration. From India to Pakistan, it will be as a international migration. India to Canada, Russia, India to England, India to France is a international migration. So those which are moving from our country people which are moving from our country towards the other country are known as emigrants. Emigrants, emigrants, emigrants. Those which are leaving our country and moving towards the other country is known as the emigrants. And those people which are entered in our country, near to the Jalandhar, as a lovely professional university, a large number of the foreign students, these are taking as admissions in a LPU. These are known as immigrants. Especially as African countries, a large number of students, they are coming towards India for the health facilities. People which are coming towards India for a medical tourism, for a cheaper medical facilities. These are known as a medical tourists, which you read in the last year. Under medical tourism, these are known as the immigrants. IMMIGRANTS. They are known as the immigrants. Clear? Till there any questions? Till there any questions? Yes, any questions? Next, we proceed towards as those countries, like as developed countries, like as US, United States of America, Australia, England, France, Russia, America, Canada. They are gained the large number of the in migration. Other countries towards their countries. Such kind of a new population which has reaching towards Canada, they are known as immigrants for them. Such students which leaves India and now as living in Canada, America, they gone for education, but now as permanently they are residing in Canada, America, England, France, these countries, Australia, New Zealand. They are known as the in-migrants for such economies, for such countries. And those which leaves our country, they are known as the out-migrants for us, emigrants, out-migration or emigrants. Out-migration or emigrants, they are known in our country. Because the movement of such people from our country, it disturbs the sex ratio. It disturbs sex ratio, the males and females composition. And most number of people which leaves India for a better living conditions, for job opportunities in Gulf countries like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia. These are preferably as males. When males are leaving India and moving towards other country, which leads to the proportion in between of males and females. Proportion between the males and females, it disturbs. Same as such kind of a population which leaves the Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh and enters in parts of Punjab, Haryana and Delhi, it disturbs the sex ratio. In such areas, Punjab, Haryana, the population of males increasing comparatively the females. Which disturbs the age and sex composition of our state. Clear? Age and sex composition of our state. Migration is generally influenced by the two forms of a factor: push factors, pull factors. Push factors and pull factors. Push factors, such circumstances which force population to leave their neighboring areas and move towards the other. For example, first, push factors like illiteracy, where it will be as illiteracy, people will neither prefer to live in such areas. They will move towards such areas whereas the people are literate, better education facilities are there. Illiteracy. Second, crime against women, where the crime against women is higher, the crime rate is higher. In such areas, the population will never to live. It will never to live in areas where the crime against women, or we can say as a crime rate is higher. Crime rate is higher in such areas as a population. It will be leaves there, such part of the country. Third, political instability. Political instability. Those countries or economies of a world where political stability is not there. Political stability in the sense government, it can't run for the 5 years. Before the completion of a 5 years, government dissolve. If in that state has exist in a country, under such circumstances, the social disturbances will appear on that particular country. So population prefer to move towards the such areas where political stability is there. So political instability covers under the push factors. Fourth, unemployment. Unemployment. If the people not having as a jobs, how can they will earn? If they will not earn, how can they will complete their basic necessities like food, shelter, and clothing? They will be live as a below poverty line. So such of areas will left by a population move towards the areas where the more job opportunities. That's why the population moving from a rural towards the urban areas. Rural towards urban areas. Clear? Next, living standard, low living standard. Low living standard. In such economies where people are living as a low living standard, they are not having as adequate jobs, they are not having as a high income or equal incomes. In such areas, a population neither to prefer live. It will be the left such countries, such areas of a world move towards other areas. So all these are covered under the push factors. I'm again as repeating: illiteracy, unemployment, social insecurities. Social insecurities means the crime against women is higher. In such areas, population neither to prefer to live. Social insecurities, political instability, and last as the fifth, low status of people, low living conditions. Low living conditions. These are collectively responsible for the push factors which force a population to leave their areas and move towards the other parts of the world. As compared to this, some factors are there which attract the population towards their areas, which are considered under the pull factors. Pull factors of migration. Pull factors of migration. First is job opportunities. Where the more job opportunities are there, people prefer to move towards such areas. Where industries are there, where the agriculture is used for a commercial purposes, cash crops. In such areas, a population prefer to move. Clear? Job opportunities, better job opportunities. Second, political stability. Political stability. Political stability, where the government is stabilized, which can run for the period of the 5 years. Afterwards of 5 years, elections held. In such areas, population prefer to live. In those areas where the elections held after the completion of 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, it means as that state or a country, it has to avail the more services. For availing the such services, people, they are paid the more taxes to the increasing the income of the government. Clear? Political stability attracts the population. Social securities. Third, social securities. Social securities attract the population. Social securities attracts the population. Fourth, industrialization. Growth of industries. Growth of industries makes more perspective for generation of job opportunities for people. job opportunities for people for better earning. Higher income means people they can spend as a luxurious life, high living standard, high living standard, high living standard. Fifth, better public facilities, good public facilities like as a health, education, means of growth of means of transport, sanitation, clean drinking water, such kind of the public facilities available at a easier, affordable and accessible. In such areas, population prefer to move. Population prefer to move towards such areas where better public facilities are available for population. Available for population. Clear? Is that clear? Migration. There are three factors which are affecting as a population change: birth rate, total number of the births, live births, as compared to the as proportion to the per 1,000 persons in a year. In a year. Death rate, total number of deaths as proportion to the 1,000 persons per 1,000 persons in a year, in which from which as a IMR is deducted. Infant mortality rate is deducted. IMR, infant mortality rate, refers to the state in which a person, a child who die before the age of 1 year. It will be as a cover under the IMR. In those economies where IMR is a higher, if the child die below the 1 year, if the 50% or 1/3 of a population die below the age of 1 year, means after completion of 20-30 years, nobody it will be available for a production of goods and services. Who will produce the goods? Goods are manufactured by the human resource. If the child will die below the age group of 1 year, then nobody it will be as a surviving in a country. Third is some migration, movement of a people from a one place towards other. In present scenario, in present trend, our most number of the workforce, the working population, which has lies above the age group of 15 to 59 age group, that population has leaves the country and moved towards the developed nations of Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand, England, France for better living conditions. Then what will be as a visualize after 20 years in India? There will be the elders will remains. Elders, they will remain in India after the 20-30 years in our country. Means the productive population left the country, which indicates as the poor conditions of a country. It indicates as poor conditions of country. Clear? So these are the three factors responsible for the population change. Till there, any questions? Any questions? Any queries? Next, as a patterns of a population change. Patterns of population change. When we are talking about the population change, we are talking about the change in a population from the previous years. Population is a dynamic process. Population is a dynamic phenomena. Dynamic in the sense it is a changeable, not a static. It is a dynamic phenomena which regularly as it changes. As we learned, population change has influenced by the birth rate, death rate, and migrations. Birth rate, death rate, and migration. The pattern of a population change, it may be as a negative or a positive in the sense. Negative means when birth rates are the increasing, but as compared to the birth rate, death rates are higher. It happens the once in a one of the decade of Indian history, from 1911 to 1921, the total number of deaths in this decade, 1911 to 21, deaths were more comparatively the births. The reason behind the Higher number of deaths was a cholera, plague. Such kinds of epidemics spread in a large scale, which led to the death of individuals, because of which as a death rate increased comparatively the birth rate. This has showed as a negative pattern of a population change, population growth. The positive pattern of a population growth as in that economy where as a deaths are controlled and the birth rates are consistently or statistically increase. There are two ways to express a change in a population. There are the two processes are used. Two ways are used to express change in population. First is the absolute number, change in the absolute number. Second is the percentage change per year. Percentage change per year. Absolute number, change in an absolute number. The absolute number indicates total increase in the given population. Total increase in the given population. Total increase in the given population. The absolute number added each year. The absolute number added each year or decade. Decade is a time period of 10 years. Each year or decade is the magnitude of increase. Is the magnitude of increase. For example, in 2001, India's total population was 101 crores. 101 crores. India reached at a level of the 1 billion. 101 crores. After the 10 years, the India's population, it became as the 121 crores. Means under the time period of 2001 to 2011, 20 crores of a total population increase in our country. 20 crores of total population increase. So in 2011, the total population, which was the 121 crores. So next census, which was not as conducted in the last year, now it will be happening in this year, 2022. Afterwards, if the total population of country has visualized, agar wo aati hai, 136 crores means under the next decade, 2011 towards 2021, the next 10 years, total population, it may be as an increase as a 15 to 16 crores. 15 to 16 crores. What it indicates? It indicates that birth rate control at some of the extent. 2001 to 2011, total population 20 crores increase. 20 crores increase in 1970, India's total population was 70 crores. 70 crores. So the next 30 years till 2001, the India's total population, it increased as a 31 crores. 31 crores. Earlier it was as a lower, birth rate was a higher, same as a death rate also a higher. Afterwards 2001 to 11, 20 crores population increase, death rate controlled, birth rate higher. If the next 10 years, it indicates as a 16 crores of a total population present in India, which indicates that the birth rate controlled at some of extent, or it may as consider that deaths were more occur. Deaths occur more comparatively the births. That's why the population increase as a little bit. Clear? This indicates as an absolute change in number. Absolute change in number. Next is a percentage. Next way through which we can express about the population change as the percentage change per year. Percentage change per year. It gives It gives pace or the rate of population increase, percentage change per year. It gives pace or rate of population increase, it is record in percent per year. It is record in percent per year. For example, rate of increase of population, 3% per year, 3% per year means that in a given year, the next year, current year, it is an increase of 3% for every 100 persons, 3 persons for every 100 persons in the base population. Means in proportion to the every 100 people living in a country, 3 persons increase as their proportion in a given period of time. Given period means the current period. It may be as a 2021 to 22, 2020 to 21. Clear? 3% indicates that the 3 persons in proportion to the 100 persons present in a country increase in a given period of time. Through these two ways, we can express about as a population change. One as an absolute in number, previous total population of a country, from which as a how many total number of people are increased under a period of 10 years. This is as a one way. Second way, how many percentage of a population increase since last 10 years in a period of a census years, total percentage of a population increase. Clear? Till there any doubts? Till there any questions? Till there any questions? Yes. No questions. Next is the population composition. Population composition refers to the state of population with study in context of age, sex, males, females, literacy level, health conditions, occupation and income level. Composition refers to the structure of population. Structure of population. Now pay attention towards your screen. Population composition refers to the state in which we study the population in relation to age, sex, literacy level, health conditions, occupations, and income level. Clear? Tomorrow we will continue this as the population composition.